Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
My liver's all twisted up. But you know what I did? I loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Who wants an orange whip? Orange whip? Orange whip? 3 orange whips.
So you're bored, are ya? I've come here to break your monotony. Let me have my piece, because I'm shooting with this one, folks. I don't care, man.
The unscripted, uncensored, loose cannon of commentary.
Why did you say that? Why? What? You come out with stink like that? Poop. Poop mouth. Poop out of your mouth.
See, son? Old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum look a lot alike, Daddy.
I've got a midget friend, an albino friend, and another friend who thinks Lord of the Rings is real. Together we call ourselves the Unfuckables.
Quinton is in. Let the fun begin.
Body touch.
God, you're an asshole, man.
I've never heard of this.
You're the guy that's going to tip the scale. I know that.
Hollywood. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley, and this is Metal Edge Magazine's another effing podcast. And yes, my loyal minions, you do matter to me, because that is the kind of sugar that Papa likes, and this whole thing had me tossing and turning all night long. But it is going to be an easy thing, because we are going to rock me, baby. This is the Kiss Drunken Summit solo record style. Oh, do we have a good one? Returning is the great Mike Portnoy. Good day, sir.
You wanted the best. You got the best. Oh, no, wait. You wanted the best. They weren't available, so you get us instead.
Roy Mayorga. Welcome back, good sir.
Hello.
Mr. Benante, Charlie Benante.
Cheers.
And Eddie, I figured this out. The best way to get your song played on the radio is to have the guy that's going to play it actually in the intro, and that is kissing enough ass to get him to play your song. And Eddie played my song yesterday. He world premiered my version of Speeding Back to My Baby, which you will hear at the end of the show, because fuck it, why not? Eddie Trunk, good day, sir.
And that, well, Izzy, in all honesty, I did not realize that, and that had nothing to do with me playing it. It's a great version of the song, and that's God's honest truth. I did not realize that I was even in that. So you're reaching there. I did it because you're a friend, and I like it. And by the way, the You Wanted the Best intro last weekend, I introed Anthrax at Rocklahoma, and I did the Anthrax intro. Charlie, did somebody record that?
I think so, yes. It was such a great, it was such a great intro, and it got me all pumped up.
This is such a geek that I am. So Mike Monterulo, Anthrax's agent, says to me, you should bring them on and do the You Wanted the Best intro. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then like an idiot, like the super geek that I am, I went to Charlie and Scott and I said, wait, do you want the Alive 1 or Alive 2 version? I was going to ask you.
Best band in the world,
with the Alive 1.
The hottest band in the land.
Land or world, right.
Yeah. Right, the world.
And of course, my co-host, from Metal Edge Magazine, the great Mr. Paul Gargano.
Hello.
Oh, and just really quick, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to participate in these or in any show, go to Spreaker.com/user/Izzy Presley, hit that follow button, hit that follow link, and then you can get notified every time we go live. Then you can jump into the chat room, and the chat room is already pumping. I love it. This is going to be great. And also, if you're listening and haven't watched, go to YouTube, subscribe on YouTube as well. It is the Drunken Summit, so we got to kick it off right. In the words of my good friend Stone Cold Steve Austin, crack one for the working man. Cheers, everybody.
Great sound.
Yeah, you'd be drunk for all of us.
I've got the Iron Maiden. I've got the Iron Maiden Hellcat beer standing by.
Good times. You're going to grow a neck beard.
I've got the last of Charlie's coffee. The last of Charlie's coffee is in here actually right now.
Need some of that.
And also, in the words of our good friend Don Jameson, to hell with our livers.
Well, I drank the Kool-Aid when I was like, 10.
Oh yeah.
Charlie, I have some of those bags, by the way, that you have behind you. I have a whole stack of those somewhere.
That's an original one. That's the
Yeah, I have a bunch of them actually.
Should have kept mine.
That's awesome.
Although I can't find the records.
Check out what I got.
Oh, that's
Oh.
cool, dude.
The 8-track.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Black.
I think I told the story. Between the first 2 episodes we did, I probably told this story, but I probably, if you don't mind, can I just tell it again just in case?
Go for it.
Wait, is this the ribeye story?
No, no. Wally cooked a ribeye, but we ate before the show. I didn't realize these things go on for like 4 hours.
I don't have that much time tonight.
No.
I actually
Yeah,
have
I
a
was
bunch
about
of
to
stuff to do.
say.
So tell the story quick.
But I think I told
I
the
lose
story last
patience
time.
after an hour and a half myself, so I'm like,
But it's talking about seeing Charlie's Bag, that the albums came in when you bought them back when they came out. I went the day, I think it was September 18th, 78. I had my aunt, Sarah, drive me to Tilbin's in Oceanside to buy all 4 albums. I saved up the money, bought all 4 albums, and then brought them to school the next day. And somebody stole them out of my locker the next day. So I had to go back and buy them again. But when I rebought them, I didn't buy Peter's. I only bought Gene Paul's and Ace's again. But I remember those bags.
Did Petrucci ever give you them back?
I don't think John's ever owned a Kiss record in his life. He doesn't know Kiss.
No.
No. I mean, there's a running joke that Derek Sherinian used to have about the Dream Theater guys with not me. Derek says, you either grew up with Kiss and Van Halen posters in your room or you didn't. And I did. And the other Dream Theater guys were definitely not the Kiss types like I always was.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I can't count past Peter Criss. Boom.
There you go. And I don't know if I missed something there or what. But.
I know.
That's always my Rush joke.
He
don't
says
like
it
Rush?
every week, and every week we're all like, whatever. Okay.
Now, can I'd like to hear, if you don't mind.
Hold on, just get the Sebastian Bach imitation out of the way now.
Dude, what are you fucking talking about?
All right, we got that
All right,
done.
that's out of the way. That's done.
See, I'd like to know, unless you guys have a reason to not do this, like what everybody's order is before we even start. Because for me, it's a clear cut. I mean, I would bet 8 out of 10 Kiss fans have the same order that I have in my head. I don't know if you want me to disclose it, but I'd be curious to hear everybody's orders just off of what they think it is. But once you start going track by track, we did this with the other shows, it's a game changer, and it doesn't necessarily equate to what you think is the favorite. So, I mean, for me, it was always Ace, Paul, Gene, Peter. That was to me, and I think most Kiss fans, that's the order. I don't know if it is for everybody here.
For me, it is.
It is.
Yeah, me too.
Not me.
Not me.
Not me either.
Of course not.
Well, what's your order before we go through? I mean, what is your order?
Personal. This is personal order. This isn't
Yes.
where we think they're going to end up, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I actually go for it.
No. Well, I was, and you cut me off, so go.
Actually, I have two orders. As Kiss records, it goes Ace, Gene, Peter, Paul, and not as Kiss records, as the records themselves, Peter, Ace, Gene, Paul.
Peter first?
As a record, not as a Kiss record.
Wow.
It is the most underrated album that Kiss ever put out.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know how to respond to that.
Deafening silence.
Yeah. Izzy has a way of silencing the room.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's just shock value.
No, you should see me do stand up sometime. It's even worse.
I'll say this. I'm going to do 2 versions too. I'm going to do with how I was back then when I first got them compared to what I think now, because back then Ace, that record just made me feel like alive, no pun intended. But I would say Paul's record now for me is just as strong as Ace's record.
Yeah, I think he's got maybe the stronger songs, Paul. Like when we go, like I looked at these, ahead of time, and I was shocked that Ace wasn't sweeping it. Like I thought in my head he would, but I guess we'll see. But
sound like Kiss songs. Paul's records sound like Kiss songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exactly what they were.
I love that record.
I feel like Paul's record doesn't sound like finished Kiss songs though, which for me personally
Coulda, woulda, shoulda been.
It was for me, Gene was everything growing up. The Gene record, I'm actually surprised because once you go through your professional phase of dealing with Kiss, Gene becomes not quite what he used to be, and he becomes something different. Did I put that well, Eddie? Was that?
I'd actually say that more about Paul, but
fair enough. But yeah, so like Gene, but the interesting thing for me is coming back to them. I was surprised just listening to them as a whole. Historically, I still put that Gene one up there. I have a whole different appreciation for it now because now I realize he's just basically trying to do a Beatles record. I mean, that's all it was. And
that's what I appreciated.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I loved about it too.
That's exactly. And that's what I think. I used to love it because he was the demon. I love it more now because I appreciate the fact that he's just making a Beatles record.
Come on, you wanted a whole album full of God of Thunders and stuff. I know you did. I did.
Exactly.
But I
want an album full of baby drivers and Mainline and Strange Ways and Hard Luck Womans, but we didn't get that either.
We didn't get. So,
I think
my order was Gene, Ace, Paul, Peter.
Roy, I think the difference is because Peter sang those songs, but he didn't write them.
Well, I didn't. Well, as an 8-year-old kid, I didn't realize that at the time. Now I know how it works. But
right, I think that's it. I mean, like
I was thinking, whoever sang the song, that's the person who wrote it. So that's what we're going to get.
Right. I mean, Peter's songs within Kiss were great. The ones he sang, but I don't think he had a single writing credit. Did he have a writing credit?
Well, I think Hooligan and Baby Driver.
I don't think. I think he wrote Baby Driver. That sounds.
Yeah, I think Hooligan too.
You did write Hooligan.
I heard that Baby Driver was all his, and he actually recorded it outside of Kiss as well.
Really?
Yeah.
But if there's only a computer where we could look up and find who wrote it, if there was only this device, that we could actually confirm this. Which
I mean, as an 8-year-old
Izzy, make a joke so we could all be silent and we'll have 30 seconds of awkwardness.
I can go into my 10-minute rant on why Peter's album is the best.
I was just gonna, because as much as easy as it is for me to give Izzy shit and Izzy give me shit, I will say this: that Peter album, it felt like the most solo of the albums. Like it wasn't, you weren't getting when it came out. It was just like it was a completely different side that you didn't expect. So I get what Izzy means, but just because it's different, I don't think it's great.
Yeah, it's gentleman rock.
Yeah.
All right. So just for the record, Baby Driver and Hooligan, both written by Peter Criss and Stan Penridge, the same two that wrote Beth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Peter did write all that stuff. So, I mean, Peter obviously didn't write Hard Luck Woman. He didn't write, Strange Ways and things like that. So just, I'll jump in on this real quick, just since we're all going around on this. I have a completely different appreciation for Peter's record and what he did and the balls to do that in 1978 at the height of Kiss Mania. And you can actually make the case that he's the only one that truly did a solo record completely the way he wanted to make a record, with no regard for like how it was going to affect the fan base or what have you. So don't
put that picture on the cover.
I think he was put in a position where that was the plan. All four of them were going to do it. And I think if it was released on its own years later, it probably would have been appreciated more. But I think it was
exactly. It's in that. It's being like the Kiss phenomenon was just at that. It was at the most
at its height.
At its height. So if you're going to put out 4 solo albums from these guys and have the characters on each, then you're expecting to hear Baby Driver.
Yeah.
Right. No, I get it.
So it was so just to finish my thing real quick, it was jarring as a 13-year-old to hear that record in not in a good way, because of course you wanted Baby Driver, Hooligan, you expected like a hard rock record. So I couldn't even process that record as a kid when I got it. Now, as a 57-year-old guy, I completely appreciate that record. And for what he did and his vocals and everything, because he's obviously a great singer. But just to go back to the original question, the running order, and I've always felt this way, Paul Stanley's album is one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, not just of the 4 records, of all time. I've always felt it's maybe one of the most underrated records ever made.
I agree with you.
The songs, the production, his vocal is ridiculous on some of it. And
His
he
playing.
was always playing, Bob Kulick's playing. I mean, Richie Fontana, who I loved, who was in Piper, who plays drums on most of the record. So I love that record to death. And he hates me, but I love his record. but the thing is I also love the Ace record. So for me, it's like Paul's is 1A and Ace's is 1. Like, they're right there. But if I had to give the slightest nudge to one, it's Paul's, because consistency of the songs, and I'm all about singing, and the vocal on Take Me Away, Tonight You Belong to Me, It's All Right. I mean, it's just, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is like power pop amplified. It's friggin' Ain't Quite Right, Goodbye. That record is flawless. Well, we'll get more into it when we go track by track. There's only one song that's maybe a little suspect, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
I know which one.
Yeah, it was the single.
Yeah.
What was it? Was the single Move On?
No,
Hold Me, Touch Me.
Oh, okay,
But
right.
the
right.
single was
That's what I thought you
Love
said.
in Chains, because I remember hearing that on the radio too.
I never heard anything from the Kiss
And
records
I
ever
was
on the
living-
radio.
I
Except
was
New
living in
York Groove,
Florida
ever.
at the time when those records came out, and I remember Love and Chains was on the radio, and New York Groove was on the radio. Those are the only 2 songs from this.
Wow.
And Tonight You Matter to Me from Peter Criss. That's
You
it.
Matter to Me.
2 songs. You Matter to Me.
Oh, you matter.
2 songs.
Right.
Wow, you live by a cool radio station, Roy,
Yeah,
because
right.
that's crazy.
Not really. The
Hell
only
yeah.
radio station where I was living that was playing that was Y100. That was in like Hialeah, Miami, Florida.
Wow. All right.
I'm sure you guys know on the Dynasty tour, when it started, they were doing one off of each album. They were doing Move On, New York Groove, and they were also doing Radioactive.
Yeah.
And,
Tossing and turning.
That's
But,
cool.
but
then
after
they
a while,
dropped them.
they dropped Radioactive and Tossing and Turning, and then only did Move On and New York Groove. But I found Move On a strange choice for Paul's song for that tour. Like, to me, Wouldn't You Want to Know Me or Tonight You Belong to Me would have been way more obvious of a pick.
Hell
to
yeah.
add. But it's
Yeah,
interesting
totally.
hearing Kiss play those songs. You can find that stuff on YouTube, and hearing, Ace playing solos on these songs, it's really cool.
That's cool. I'm gonna check that
So
out.
it's just like that 2001 concert that just came out where Ace is playing Lick It Up and I Still Love You from the Japan show for the short-lived Eric Singer, Ace Frehley lineup. That's weird to listen to. And hear Ace playing, I think, Tears Are Falling. It's like crazy to think that.
They on the farewell tour, they were doing that. They were doing Heaven's on Fire and I think Tears Are Falling and I Still Love You.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That would probably sound really cool. What those
Yeah,
guys
it
did.
was. Paul, did you give your running order?
I think I did. I think I said Gene, Ace, Paul, Peter.
Okay. I just want to make sure
Yep.
that everybody got it in. So
That's a Jersey Shore reference.
All right, let's do this.
Can I say one more thing about Peter's album? If you
please
don't
go
mind?
for it.
I have to be honest. I haven't listened to it in about 30 years, and I listened to it yesterday to prepare for this because I know the other 3. I've heard them hundreds of times, but I hadn't listened to Peter's in like 30 years, and I was surprised. Like everyone's saying, that for what it is, it's not bad. It's got that New York '78 sound. Like it sounds like.
Steely Dan-ish.
Well, it reminds me with the horns and everything and the sax. Like, think of like the Blues Brothers and the Saturday Night Live band. Everybody, or John Lennon around that time, that rock and roll album that John Lennon did. Everybody was playing with sax players, and Billy Joel had it. It has that New York '78 sound. You could picture them fucking doing Lines of Below at the Electric Lady Studios. It just feels like a real New York '78. Like almost like yacht rock album. So
yeah, well, look, Mike, this is the thing, and I listen to the classic Casey Kasem's all the time, and just fucking Sunday night on 70s on 7, they had one from September 9th, 1978, and the top 10, other than all the fucking Grease songs, I think there was like 5 Grease songs in the top 10, but other than that, all of those songs sounded like Peter's solo record.
Peter's album sounds like what was on the radio
exactly.
at that time. I mean, it didn't sound like Kiss. That's why it was so jarring for us. But if you listen to, Billy Joel's 52nd Street or the Blues Brothers Briefcase Full of Blues or whatever, I mean, that was the sound at that time,
Well, the thing about that too is, and like Mike said, he listened to it yesterday. I actually listened to it today, and I had a better appreciation for it. And I think the tone of the record was that a Vinnie Poncia production, right? And the playing on it is great. But the thing is, back then when I was a kid, whenever my friends would come over, that record never came out.
Right.
You went right to Ace and then to Paul. Like,
how about this? How about this real quick on the Vinnie Poncia thing? So Peter's album, the biggest left turn, the biggest different record, the one that shocked everyone. And then Kiss decides to use the guy who produced that record for their next 2 studio records.
Yeah.
That's interesting, Paul.
And actually, does Peter play on that record?
No, neither. Dynasty. I think Peter only played on his track on Dynasty. In fact, I think Peter's the only one that played on his track on Dynasty. If I remember
thought he was
correctly.
asking if Peter played on his solo record.
I don't think he did.
No, he did. Well, the line.
I think there's a few. I think he may have had a different drummer on a couple tracks on it, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Where he just sang kind of like a Ringo Starr thing. I think he just sang on a few things. If we only had this thing called Google.
I mean, I think that Gene album was also at the time a real considerable left turn because Gene was the demon. He was like the heavy God of Thunder, and that album was not a God of Thunder record.
I love that he was so experimental. I mean, obviously you mentioned the Beatles elements, but the fact that it opens with this demonic sound effects, like you're going through the fucking evil tunnel in Willy Wonka, and then it ends with When You Wish Upon a Star, like a fucking Disney. So it showed that he was not afraid to go against his stereotype and show that other side of him.
Here you go. 2 songs, three songs on Peter's 78 solo album that he did not play drums on. Those songs were performed on drums by, we got drummers in the house. There you go. Alan Schwartzberg.
That's right.
Who also played on, I think, on Gene's album as well.
Yeah.
And those songs would be Easy Thing, Rock Me Baby, and I Can't Stop the Rain.
Yeah. And I believe Paul has 3 drummers. He has Richie Fontana, he has Carmine, and he has Craig Cramp. Yeah. And then Ace has Anton.
Yep.
Great drummer.
And Anton,
who ended up playing on Dynasty.
Yeah. Anton rips on that record. I mean,
especially
destroys that record.
Because Paul's record was done in 2 completely different sessions. Half of it was done in New York, and the other half was done in LA. So that's why there's different musicians on half the record, because he used New York musicians on half and LA guys on the other half when he moved to the other coast.
But actually, the thing about Paul's record, I think Mike Stone engineered that record. Mike Stone's awesome, but I think Ace got the right guy. He got Eddie Kramer.
Yeah.
And I just had Eddie Kramer on my show a couple weeks ago. I'm putting it as a podcast actually on Thursday. And I asked him if there was, think about that. Here's Eddie coming off of Alive, Rock and Roll Over, Alive 2, Love Gun. I would think all 4 of those guys would be fighting to get him to do their solo record. And I asked Eddie if that was the case. And he said, actually, no. He goes, it was just like Ace was the one that called. He goes, it was just natural. Ace was my guy. I was going to go do Ace. He goes, it never even came up.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing.
Because wait, who did Jeans?
I have it right here.
Not Jack Douglas, right? Who was it?
Sean Delaney.
Right.
Wow.
The 5th member of Kiss.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it was interesting for me that Kiss, like you just made the comment about Willy Wonka. Like that was to me the creepiest part of that Kiss album, that Gene Simmons record, was that intro and coming out with When You Wish Upon a Star, because it was like Wonka-esque.
Yeah.
That intro to Radioactive scared me as a kid. It really did.
Yeah.
When I was like 12, 13 years old, hearing that in my headphones, it freaked me out. And then when the song kicks in, it almost like, it's scary.
Do you guys know the CD version where Radioactive is only the sound effects? And then track 2, Burning Up with, is actually Radioactive and Burning Up with Feather are both. They fucked it up in mastering, I think. So the IDs are wrong on this.
Yep.
Interesting. I always thought Slayer took that Hello 8's intro from Gene Simmons.
Right, totally. Or actually ELO's Fire on High, which was only a few years earlier, as a very, very, very similar intro.
You're right. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
So a few little bookkeeping before we get into the scorekeeping. I've made an executive decision on this. So we could change my mind if we want, but 2 of the albums have more than 9 tracks. Gene has 11 and Peter has 10.
So I figured this was Peter's chance to definitely win one round.
So here's how I'm looking at this. Since coming into this, just from talking to people, I already knew that Paul and Ace are the 2 favorites. I'm going to make tracks 10 and 11 handicaps. So whoever wins between the Gene and the Peter, track 10 and 11, track 10, one gets 2 points and one gets 1 point. And then Gene automatically gets an extra point because he's the only one with a track 11. So he has to win. So Gene automatically gets 1 extra point in the end. And Gene
says the man whose favorite album is Gene's.
Gene.
Trust me, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. But so yeah, Gene can either get 3 points and Peter will get 1, or Peter can get 2 points and Gene can get 2. That's basically how it's going to go. And those are going to, because they made extra songs, so we'll reward them for their work. Everybody fine with that?
Sure.
I think Gene knew back then that we were going to do this.
Yes.
He actually called me. He actually called me and said, "Mr. Gargano, I heard this is going to be happening." So,
yes, I need to get extra points on this. So I'm going to put 11. Yes,
remember
that this album goes to 11.
Remember that time that I told Peter Criss that he could tell you the truth in that interview? Yes. Make it up to me now. So that's where we're at. And what I will do, I'll read the 4 songs as always. 4 points for first, 3 points for second, 2 points for third, 1 point for fourth. 1 point for fourth best, because there's no losers.
That's right.
Everyone gets a participation trophy.
Such is the world we're in.
And then we're going to take the songs with the most points, the 10 songs, and make the best album out of the points. Is that what we were going to do?
Yes.
How we always done it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Glad you guys put a lot of production and planning into the show before we started.
Yeah. Actually, we did talk about that a long time ago, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
And I'm what people consider a weekend drinker. I start on Saturday and end on Friday. So.
Hey, you got a chuckle out of me for that one.
Yeah. Well, it's a Bill Hicks joke, so somebody's gonna laugh. All right,
you ready to start?
Do this? Let's do this. Hold on, Paul. Before we start, I'd have to make this announcement that the next Drunken Summit is going to be next month, October 19th, on my birthday. Getting the same crew, as many of the same crew as last time. And last time we just debated 5150 versus Eat 'em and Smile. This time we are going track versus track, and 5150 will dominate.
Okay. All right. So are we good to go now?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just waiting for the next Izzy shameless plug.
Soho House on Thursday night with Mike Dawson and the Smoking Kills in Santa Barbara.
All right. Ready? All right. There we go. You got that? All right. Everyone got that. My order, I just have them in this is not a favoritism order. Starting with Paul Stanley, Tonight You Belong to Me. Ace Frehley, Rip It Out, Gene, Radioactive, and Peter, I'm Gonna Love You.
This has to be unanimous.
That's hard.
There's no way this can't be unanimous.
I bet you it won't be unanimous.
It will not.
I don't think
be
it's
unanimous.
I bet
easy.
it's not unanimous. No.
Well,
it is not easy.
As a matter of fact, at least 3 of you may never talk to me after I give mine.
Oh God, he's gonna say Radioactive. Well, who goes? Is there an order to how we do this, or is it just random?
Go ahead, Mike.
I mean, to me, "Rip It Out" is my favorite, probably my favorite song of all 4 albums. I mean, you know, the drumming on that, Anton Figg's drumming and those drum fills in the middle. I mean, it had such an impact on me when I was a kid. And "Tonight You Belongs to Me" is also a phenomenal opener, an amazing song. But to me, it can't beat "Rip It Out." So my order would be, I'll say the people instead of the song. So I would say Ace, Paul, Gene, Peter. "Rip It Out," "Tonight You Belong to Me," Radioactive. That's the order. Yeah.
Who's going next?
Go for it, Ed.
Insanely difficult between "Rip It Out" and "Tonight You Belong to Me," but by the slightest of edges, I'm going "Tonight You Belong to Me." Again, as a kid at that time, Paul Stanley was always my favorite member of the band. The epic nature of that song, the way it starts, the way it sets the table, and then the na 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 na. Oh, are you kidding me? Like I still get and just da, 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 and then forget. I can't even get. It's like so huge and epic and great. That's just such a great song. So I'm going there, and with "Rip It Out" an insanely close second, and then Gene, Peter.
Okay.
Charlie, what do you got?
I have to go. This is a tough one too, because today I love that Paul Stanley song, but "Rip It Out" is just such a great opener. And Mike is right. Anton completely plays these fills, and the production of that record, the way it sounds, it's so raw. And I don't know if Kiss could pull that song off if Ace brought it to them. I'm going to go "Rip It Out." With "Tonight You Belong to Me" is very close, and then "Radioactive."
Okay. Roy?
I'm going to go "Rip It Out." And that's purely because, first off, Anton Fig, amazing drumming. This whole record, he kicks ass on that whole record. But that song, especially with that crazy fill right in the middle towards the lead, remember that? Come on. Yeah, "Rip It Out." And "Tonight You Belong to Me," Radioactive, Peter.
All right.
I mean, yeah, fucking "Rip It Out." I mean, that's the opener for my Ace Frehley tribute shows. Radioactive at number 2. I'm sorry, and it sounds like a work, but fucking that Peter song, I love it. And Paul last.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like Mike said, I'm going Radioactive first. I just can't. I can't separate. And this is music is a big part of where it takes you to. I can't separate what Radioactive meant for me as a kid to what might be a better song or might be, I just Radioactive, that intro. I still, like Eddie said before, that intro is haunting. I'm giving him points for the intro. I'm going Gene first, Ace second, Paul third, Peter fourth.
You were possessed by the demons of Radioactive.
I was. All right. So the second round, Paul, Move On. Ace, Speeding Back to My Baby. Gene, Burning Up with Fever. And Peter, I can almost read my handwriting. Peter, You Matter to Me.
You matter to me, and that's all.
So, Move On, Speeding Back to My Baby, Burning Up with Fever, and You Matter to Me.
So Mike started, right? So Mike picks it up again.
Do you want to do the same order, or you just want to pick them as we
keep
go?
the same order, right? So everybody knows who's going.
Sure, whatever.
Well, once again, I'm going with Ace first, and I like Ace, Paul's, and Gene's second songs. I like Move On. Like we mentioned earlier, it was the one that they chose to do on the Dynasty tour from Paul. And I like Burning Up a Fever, especially like the blah, 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 blah. Lovely. I mean, that's such a creepy intro. But yeah, Speeding Back to My Baby first, Move On second, Burning Up a Fever third, Peter's fourth.
Okay.
I think I'm next, right?
Yep.
So Burning Up with Fever is probably one of my favorite songs on Gene's record. That's a cool song. It's got a great groove to it. I like that song a lot, but it's still going to be third. I'm going to go, God. So check this out. This just dawned on me. Move On and Speeding Back to My Baby have something in common. Both have female backing vocalists, because on Speeding Back to My Baby, it's Ace's wife, I believe, who is singing the end, the out of the fade, the high part.
And she got a co-writing credit for that song.
Yes, she did.
So maybe it's not her singing. Maybe she has the co-write credit, but there is a female voice on it at the end. And the same with Move On. At the end of Move On, there's a female voice, which I believe is Maria Vidal, who was from Desmond Child and Rouge, which, of course, this is the year before Paul wrote I Was Made for Loving You with Desmond, and used to go see that band and used to hit on those chicks, according to Desmond. So he ended up getting her to sing on the record. So anyway, that's just an interesting little tidbit that the number 2 songs for both Ace and Peter in running order both have women backing singers on them.
There's a lot of female backing vocals on all of these. Well, at least on Gene's and Ace's albums, a lot of backing vocals, because I think they had to compensate for not having, the thing about Gene's album, it's interesting hearing Gene harmonize with himself because he's got such that gritty voice. You're used to hearing the blend between him and Paul, but in all cases, they had to compensate for not having, for instance, Paul's high vocals. So they have a lot of female vocals on these albums.
So please go get Peg Bundy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to go, again, insanely close between Speeding Back and Move On, but I'm going to give the slightest of edges to Move On at the number 1 spot, just because it's Paul, just because of the vocal. They did that song was in this Dynasty show every night. The second song, I think, right out of King of the Nighttime World. So I'm going to go Move On by a slight hair, Speeding Back at 2, then Gene and Peter.
Charlie.
Speeding Back to My Baby, Burning Up with Fever, Move On. Wait. What's the second Peter song on that?
You Matter to Me.
You
know what? I may put You Matter to Me before Move On because I don't like Move On.
Wow.
You Matter to Me is like the most disco song on Peter's record. That's basically a disco song.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right.
Vinnie Ponce.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's next, Roy?
I'm done.
Right.
I'm done.
I'm going to go Speeding Back to My Baby, Move On, Burning Up with Fever, and You Matter to Me.
Okay.
Well, because it is officially released on Saturday, Speeding Back to My Baby, my version, of course. Because
if I had that love gun, I would shoot myself right now.
Well, look, if I'm going to release a song from the solo records, why not release it on the anniversary of the solo records on the 18th? So there it is.
It was more about the shameless plugs.
Well,
am I going to get a cease and desist for playing it early?
No. No, absolutely. Yeah, yes. My lawyers are on that, Edward. So I'm going speed. I'm exactly the same as Charlie. Speeding Back, Burning Up the Fever, You Matter to Me, and Move On.
Wow.
Okay. And I'm Ace, Gene, Paul, Peter. That's my order. So Ace, Gene, Paul, Peter.
Cool.
I loved Speeding Back to My Baby until I heard Izzy's version, and
it ruined it for you.
I will say he did a very good job with the version.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
cannot wait to go to.
But I am going to continue to give him endless shit because
I'm just stoked to go to the Rainbow and pull it up on Touch Tunes.
Okay. Song 3. Paul, Ain't Quite Right. Ace, Snowblind. Gene, See You Tonight. And Peter's cover of Tossin' and Turnin'. Mike, go.
Well, I'm putting Gene at the top of this one. See You Tonight is one of my favorites off of his album. I love it. I mean, I'm a Beatles fanatic, so he tapped into some Beatles stuff on this album, like See You Tonight and Man of a Thousand Faces. I mean, I love that Beatles vibe that he tapped into. So I'd put that at top. Snowblind second. Ain't Quite Right's not one of my favorites on Paul's, so that'd be in third. And then Peter, even though Tossin' and Turnin' was probably the most memorable from his album, and it's the one that they did on the Dynasty tour, unfortunately, Peter's still number 4 for me.
Okay, so
this may be
phone call blown in my ear. So one more, I heard Peter last, Gene first.
Gene first, Ace second, Paul third, Peter fourth.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay.
So this is probably the first time we're going to have a slight change. Snowblind at 1, insanely great song. Just that's change in the middle, the guitar break. So heavy. So Snowblind is going to go 1, but I love Ain't Quite Right. I love Paul's vocal on that is so great. And Bob Kulick, the late Bob Kulick's guitar solo in that is so tasty. Such a cool atmospheric song. I love that song. So I don't want to sell it short, but Snowblind is just massive and awesome. And Ace singing about being whacked out of his skull on coke and whatever. Snowblind.
I thought that song was about skiing.
Yeah,
just like Sabbath Snowblind is. So Snowblind and then Ain't Quite Right. And then what are the Gene and Peter songs there?
See You Tonight is the Gene song, and Tossin' and Turnin', Peter's cover. Tossin' and Turnin' is the
so I got to go See You Tonight, which was really cool when they did that on Unplugged too.
Yeah,
that was a cool version of that. So See You Tonight and then the cover.
Okay.
Charlie. So I got to go with See You Tonight as well, because it's always been one of my favorites. And I would love to hear another version of it, not the Unplugged one, just with Paul singing as well with him.
It's on YouTube because they did it on one of the recent Kiss cruises, so you can find it.
No. I mean like a recording of it, like
studio version.
Then, that would have been great. It's a tough call because Snowblind too, man. It just has so many great moments. That song, it takes you on a journey, and Anton plays his ass off on that. Ace plays his ass off on that too. I think Ace kind of did a different scale, and it was like, wow, that's awesome. So I got to go Gene, Ace. I love Ain't Quite Right too, man. I love that song. So it's going to be Paul. It's going to be third. Peter's going to be last. I like the Bobby Darin version better.
Okay.
Roy.
All right, Roy.
I'm going to do Ace, Paul, Gene, Peter. That's it.
Okay.
Nice. I got to go number 1, Snowblind, because come on, you love a good cocaine song. Gene second, Paul third, and Peter last.
Peter.
I'm giving Peter an edge to Paul on this one. I'm going Ace first, Gene second. I'm giving him some props for the cover because I like it. And I'm putting Paul in fourth on this one.
Whoa.
Yep, I'm putting Paul in fourth on this one.
Yeah, and I just think we gotta reinforce here on this. We're all hard rock fans, so we're all that's what we love. That's what we were brought up on. The big, loud, bombastic Kiss is what we love. But like I said, I mean, Peter's record now is a totally different listen than the 13-year-old me, and I really appreciate it. But so I don't think for a minute this placement doesn't mean that's not a worthy record, but we're just programmed and wired to be into hard rock, and he didn't make a hard rock record, and that's why as a kid it was jarring. But now you can appreciate
I wondered,
it.
what if Paul put out his Soul Station, the original music on Soul Station,
right?
Solo album, you know what I mean? It's
there were a number of people that pointed that out, by the way, Paul, when Paul Stanley put out that Soul Station record and people were shitting on it. Some people or whatever were just like,
I thought it was cool.
Well, because basically, I guess Paul had said some stuff about Peter's record in '78 along the way, and people were saying, "Oh, look at this! Now he can go do this now, and it's so cool to own your love of Motown and all that." But in '78, when Peter took the chance and did it at the height of Kiss mania, it was you're shitting on it. So now suddenly it's cool to like that stuff. So that was the tone of it that was going around when Paul put out Soul Station, but. Yeah, but there's a great comparison there because now Paul's professing all this love for this music that Peter wore on his sleeve in '78 and made a record doing when counter to the stream of everything that was going on with Kiss Mania.
Yeah. I
very brave.
I said earlier about it's not when you're in fourth place, you're not the worst song. I mean, I genuinely like the Peter record. I mean, things fall the way they fall. Doesn't make it crap. And I agree everything you said, Eddie. I agree with it completely. It's just they're four very different records.
But again, Peter's record is very brave.
Yes,
in the fact that he did what was in his heart, and what he grew up listening to and what he loved. So it's just that for me, being whatever age I was at the time, I just really didn't connect with it. I was waiting for Baby Driver.
Think about it. Like here's Kiss at that point. 6 studio records, 2 live records, because they put so much out so quick, right? And finally, they're all like, remember, we're forgetting that the solo albums were a Band-Aid. The whole reason for doing the solo records was to try to keep the band together so everybody could go do what they wanted to and express themselves. So Peter's the one guy who had a whole nother side of him he wanted to express that he couldn't really in the confines of the band, and actually took doing a solo album to heart. And the one, I mean, you can make the case that most of the stuff on the other 3 records you could hear on a Kiss record.
Totally.
Of course, I mean, Beth was huge, obviously, but you didn't think you were going to get a whole record of Beth's. You thought you'd get a Hooligan and a Baby Driver in there, which never happened.
But what if they actually punked Peter and he didn't know, and he went. They said, "Do you just go do you?"
I mean, look, we all know that there was drama in the band at that point. Do you think there was a little bit of let Peter make the record that everyone's going to crap all over? Because
he had the biggest hit at that point with Beth. I mean,
exactly.
No, but remember this. No, they thought the record and the guy who was going to fall flat on his face was Ace. Because he was such a waste product and couldn't function and was a mess on the film set and
he got
wanted
the
to
biggest
leave.
hit.
And
he got the biggest hit out of the solo albums.
Right, and he was the guy that caused the solo records because he told them he was going to leave for a solo career. So the Band-Aid was stay in the band. We'll let you make a solo record. We'll all make solo records. But if anyone, Paul, it was them saying, this guy, he sang one song with us so far and, he can't even stand up straight. Yeah, he's going to get a solo record together. And he comes up with a masterpiece. I mean, nobody saw that one. Nobody.
I mean, to be fair, Izzy can't really stand up straight half the time. He fell down trying to get a burrito, and he still did a pretty good job on an Ace cover.
It's true. It's true. It was over a month ago, and I still can't lift my arm higher than this.
The burrito was good.
It was delicious.
All right. Track number 4, ready. Very good point, by the way, Eddie. Track number 4, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me from Paul. Ozone from Ace. Tunnel of Love from Gene. And that is not what Bruce Springsteen covered when he did Tunnel of Love. And Peter, Don't You Let Me Down. So Wouldn't you like to know me? Ozone, Tunnel of Love, and Don't You Let Me Down. Mr. Portnoy.
Well, I'm giving this round to Paul. I think Would You Like to Know Me is such a strong song. My only thing is I'm surprised he didn't open the second side with it. It's a great, it almost feels like an opener. But it's a strong song. I take away a point for not having named it Wouldn't You Like to Blow Me, which would have been way better, but I'll let him slide on that one. So yeah, Paul first. Ozone is cool. Not my favorite track, but there's a cool Foo Fighters cover of Ozone. They covered it.
Yeah.
That's number 2. Gene at number 3. Peter at number 4.
I'm actually synergy there. I'm drinking my Charlie Benante coffee from the Dave Grohl barbecue mug. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay, so your order again was
Paul, Ace, Gene, Peter.
Okay. All right.
King Edward.
Wouldn't you like to know me? Just gargantuan, amazing.
So good.
Those guitars are just, you can hear them like buzzing. Just those rhythm guitars, just so crunching and ripping. And then I love that part when it everything else just drops out and it's just the rhythm guitar. And then the big power chord comes in. Holy shit, that's fucking insanely great.
Rhythm guitar solo.
That's the best thing.
Yeah.
But then the power chord when it comes in just before he comes back in with the vocal, and the vocal is just goosebumps every time I think of that record. So wouldn't you like to know me? A clear number 1. My first real favorite band was my first band that consumed me was pretty much Kiss, but my precursor to Kiss was the Raspberries. They were my first ever favorite rock band. And Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is the Raspberries Kissified. And if you know anything about Paul, he loved the Raspberries. That's almost his homage to the Raspberries. So Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is the easy one, number 1. I do love Ozone. I think it's a really cool song, but it's number 2. And then what were the other 2, Paul?
Gene is Tunnel of Love, and Peter is Don't You Let Me Down.
Okay, so I'm going to go Don't You Let Me Down at number 3 and Tunnel of Love at 4. Tunnel of Love is just silly Gene, I'm going to make up another song about a vagina in some way and whatever. Yeah, I'm going to go. And Don't You Let Me Down is not only a great vocal from Peter, but I saw Peter when he did his Farewell Ever live performance thing in New York, which is probably 5 years ago at this point. And he did that live and he sang the hell out of it. And I think he made he did one performance during like the lockdown streaming of the last year or so. Do you guys remember that? He did a song.
Yeah. I think he did Easy Thing.
Was it Easy Thing or Don't You Let Me Down? I thought it was one of the two. I don't know.
I think it was Easy Thing. I'm pretty sure.
But anyway, Don't You Let Me Down just has that sort of snappy and his voice is great on it. So I'll put that at 3 and Gene at 4. But Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is number 1.
Charlie.
Wouldn't You Like to Know Me is the one of the best songs on that record. So that's number 1. And yeah, I agree with Ed. It has a Raspberries feel, kind of free, and that's Paul, like perfect Paul is Wouldn't You Like to Know Me. He's awesome. And then the next one is Ozone. Even though it's not one of my favorite songs on the record, it's better than the other 2. But the third one is, I love that Peter song, Don't You Let Me Down. It just reminds me of like him doing like Benny King, Stand By Me-ish, and then this is why I don't really, I think Gene's record is, he didn't take it as serious as the other guys did. A song like Tunnel of Love kind of pretty much shows.
You mean putting Lassie on the record wasn't taking it seriously?
Yeah, that. And he just got a cast of characters to just throw on, like as if, wait till you hear who's on my record. But the bottom line, the songs weren't that good,
But he had Diana Ross on the record.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Gene's record rules. Yeah.
Gene's record was Supreme.
What you did there, I see it.
Yeah.
Roy.
I'm gonna go with Ozone number 1.
Yes.
Whoa.
I'll go with Wouldn't You Like to Know Me number 2, and Tunnel of Love, and Peter. That's it.
Okay.
I got to go Ozone number 1. Paul number 2. That Wouldn't You Like to Know Me it's almost like the predecessor, because the riff is almost the same, but Sure Know Something. Dun, dun, dun,
Wow,
dun,
it is.
dun, 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 dun. And then Peter, and then Tunnel of Love last.
Okay, then I am going Paul first, Ace second, Peter third, and Tunnel of Love for the same reasons Charlie said. It's just it was just that goofy. It was too predictably cheesy. It was like, let's just catapult ourselves into 80s Kiss and put the X into sex before we even got there. Just didn't do it for me.
It's like another Hot Knife Through Butter song. That's what I think.
Very telling here that we all, like, signing on thought it was the Ace Runaway show, and the showing from the Paul record is very strong. Just saying.
I've actually been keeping score as we go because it's a lot of math, and I didn't want to be like, all right, guys, talk for 20 minutes while I do this. At the end of side one, after the next track, I'll let you know where we're at, because I don't quite agree with you so far, Eddie. But
we're at the end. Well, we're at the end of side one for we're at the end of side one for Paul's.
They're different. Like Paul's side one ends with Paul's side one has 5 tracks,
and Gene's
so they're kind of different.
Yeah.
But there's when we get to pretty much the halfway, I'm calling 5 the halfway point.
And just really quick before you go, I'm just monitoring the chat room. There's a lot of chatter in here about everybody's giving their picks, but I must highlight Sledgehammer saying I've been keeping track so far. Izzy's right. Overall, he's winning. So there you go.
Okay. Track number 5. Paul Stanley, Take Me Away, Together as One.
Oh, so it isn't the end. Wouldn't you like to know me? Isn't the end? I'm wrong. Okay, so I was wrong. Okay.
Ace, track 5, What's on Your Mind?
Oh.
Gene, track 5, True Confession. And there's a whole lot of on this one. And Peter, track 5, That's the kind of sugar that Paul likes.
Okay, maybe this will be the round that's unanimous.
What I don't care what anybody says. It's the best song title on our all 4 albums. All right, but that's the kind of sugar Papa likes. True Confessions, What's on Your Mind, or Take Me Away, Together as One.
All right, I got a feeling this will be the round that's unanimous.
No,
really? All right. Well, for me, Paul's Take Me Away is so good. That's definitely my number one. Though Carmine's drumming on this track is phenomenal. It's up there with Anton's drumming on Rip It Out. But this has that great fade. The drum fills, I remember learning every one of those Carmine drum fills at the end of the track and turning up the volume just to catch every last morsel of it. Charlie's got a story to tell about that. But yeah, so yeah, for me, that's number one. Love this track. So number 2, What's on Your Mind? I'll go with Ace number 2, True Confessions number 3, and Peter's 4th. But honestly, to me, it's easy because I think Ace, Gene's, and Peter's track 5s are among the weaker ones.
Wouldn't you Take Me Away? Clear number 1 here. All the things Mike said. I talked to Carmine many times about playing drums on that song, and he's always told me a story that he was super tired when he did it. Like he had just come back from England or something, and he landed in New York, and it was like a real last minute thing. And Paul just had him come in and do the track, and he's told me that Paul kept saying to him, yeah, just go crazy at the end. Just be Carmine at the end. And he's like, all right. He just said he was just like really drained. He just came off of a long flight and he went in, knocked it out, and he just never didn't really think much of it. But the drums are obviously enormous there. But the other thing that just gets lost because the drums are so huge is the song itself is amazing. The vocal is amazing. Paul's voice just soars. It's an insane song. So that's clear number 1 for me. What's on Your Mind is Ace going a little poppier, certainly more of a snappy poppy Ace in that, but it's a great song and I like it a lot. But that's 2, and then Gene, Peter.
Okay.
Wow.
Mr. Benante.
Oh, so I got to go with Paul's on this. Take Me Away is like one of my favorite tracks off the record. The guitar playing in itself on that song is so tasty. And Carmine's fills at the end, like Mike said, oh man, I loved it. But on the original, it fades out. But if you have the best of the solo albums, it goes out and it ends. You hear the final ending of the song. So
now hold on, Charlie. This is the Australian version. It doesn't have that on here.
I want to know where to get what you're talking about, Charlie, because I never heard that.
Me neither.
Okay.
Do you know where that is? It an outtake or it was officially released?
So Charlie, it ends cold.
Yeah, I wish you could hear this. How could I? You're
gonna get Izzy sued if you play it.
I will.
No.
Can you play it? Will it get flagged?
You can't make a rock bleed.
Holy fucking bad.
Don't hear it.
Everybody be quiet.
Nothing.
I'm not hearing it.
Charlie, talk to activate your mic.
Hello. There we go.
Amazing.
Anything.
Wow.
Wow. It's like just a bah.
Charlie, can you email me that when we're done? Wow. That's cool. I never knew that.
Me neither.
Dude, I was like, what? I have never heard that before. And it's it's like on my iTunes. And that's what it's called, the best of compilations.
Yeah, that was the one that was
I have
available.
that.
It's available everywhere, but it's weird. The Australian one only has the Australian version has Hold Me, Touch Me, Tonight You Belong to Me, and Move On as the 3 Paul songs.
So Charlie, running time wise, how much longer is it than the version on the record? Like 20 seconds or something?
That's a good question. I didn't know there was going to be math on this fucking
Right?
Because I'm trying to figure out
doing math.
The record is
how much more there is.
The record is 5:37. So what do you got on that one, Charlie?
I can't even. There's no time on it. I don't see it.
Huh.
But
if you play it, doesn't it show you on the iTunes or whatever?
Yeah, I can't even see it. Did you see that?
I can't see it.
There's a time at the end.
Okay. I'll have to get back to you on that.
I'm just wondering how much extra there is. Like, Charlie, is there like noticeable extra fills that we never heard?
Yeah, there was. Didn't you hear it? There was
no, because it was cutting out.
It was breaking up.
Oh, man.
We heard the last chord.
Charlie, can you just go set up your drums and play it for us?
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
I mean, I wish we had a drummer on the call.
How does that happen? Is that just a mastering thing when somebody mastered it and just didn't fade it, or
I would bet Paul probably made the decision. I would think, right?
I mean, it's you don't do that in mastering. That's a mix.
That's a difference. Yeah.
So I was so happy when I heard that. And actually, if you hear Peter's songs on this, they're way better. I'm only kidding. I bet I'm getting fucking torn apart on your
Charlie, so did you give your whole list?
No, he only got as far as Paul.
Okay, so Paul, Ace, Peter, and then Gene.
Same as me.
Okay.
Roy.
Same as who?
That was the same
as
thing,
Charlie.
right?
Same as
I
Eddie.
thought you were Paul, Ace, Gene, Peter.
What was the Gene and Peter songs?
Gene was True Confessions, and Peter was That's the Kind of Sugar Papa Likes.
Oh yeah, then you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you and Mike were
the one I had in the Peter hole was the previous one. Then right in the 3 spot.
By the way, wasn't that Peter's song
Yes.
from his original band Lips? I think a bunch of the songs on Peter's album
there was
was
few.
from his pre-Kiss band. And I think that was one of them. Because I have a Kiss bootleg of all the original demos of those songs from pre-Kiss.
Yeah, I think you're right. Roy, what do you got?
Anyway.
I'm going to go with Paul just from, the fact that Carmine played on that on that track, and I just always thought it was a better song than What's on Your Mind. So I'm gonna go with Paul, Ace, then Gene.
Wow, look at you.
Then Peter. Yeah.
Hey, could we just go back to Take Me Away? What's the time you have on the original song? What does it fade out to?
It says
5:37.
5:26.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine says 5:37
On your CD or your record?
on my iTunes.
Wow, mine says 5:26. That's weird.
Oh, wait.
This says 5:39.
Oh, you're right. This says 5:36, but I looked on my iTunes, which should be accurate. But you're right.
Is it a different version on iTunes? Because sometimes iTunes puts.
No, I think I ripped
have
it.
the 2014 remasters.
No, I think I ripped my iTunes from the CD.
Oh, okay.
That's weird.
And where did you find your version, Charlie? Where'd you get that version?
It's on Apple Music.
The version that that you played out?
Yeah, I put in best of solos and it comes up.
I'm gonna listen to that.
I mean, the thing is, all this inconsistency means is somebody at management and the record label didn't do their job and check everything. That's all that means.
Wouldn't it be funny if Charlie's was the shortest running time but ended cold?
The 8-track is 5:35.
Something else is missing.
Well, if it's an 8-track, it'd probably be like 5:20 because it goes click.
Yeah, 8. Well, wait a second. 8 Quite Right is cut in half between program 3 and 4. Gotta love 8-tracks. These are the fucking worst things ever.
Yeah, they always like click in the middle of the song. You never hear the end.
Yeah, they change the sequence a lot of times as well, which is crazy. But
which song are we talking about again? It's the
Take Me Away. Together as One.
Just looking to see if it's on the vinyl.
I don't have any of it with me in front of me.
We're getting way too friggin' geeky here. This is insane.
That's why you love this, Eddie.
This is even geeky by my standards, man.
What's going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, you're arguing over seconds. Let's go to the next track for Christ's sake.
You were the one that asked.
It's 10:15 here. Come on now.
It's 5:26 on the vinyl.
Oh my God.
Okay, it's 5:26 on the vinyl. This version is 5:46.
5:46.
Oh,
well, I just can't wait to see Izzy get his ass sued by Charlie playing all that music over the podcast.
By the way, does anybody have the box set? The box set of all the 40th anniversary box comes with lithographs, comes with a turntable pad, and the vinyl is colored like Peter's is green, Ace's is blue, Gene's is red. Totally awesome.
Does it come with the posters?
And the posters, yep.
I'm getting it right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
I just
40th anniversary box.
I just got it on eBay.
Just for mine. Just for the record, this is sealed, and I am taking offers on it. So
it's being shipped. Charlie, is your copy being shipped from Pennsylvania from somebody named M. Portnoy? he's got 15 copies behind him.
All right. So Izzy, what's your order?
Did you finish?
Yeah, Roy finished.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So I gotta go Ace, Peter, Gene, Paul.
Ace, Gene, Peter, Paul. Paul last.
Paul last.
Ace, Peter,
you're such a fucking rebel.
Already, you guys are gonna hate me. I'm going Peter first.
Yeah.
That song, I don't know what it is about that song, but I love that song.
Which song? Which song?
The Peter. That's the kind of sugar Papa likes.
You just like the title.
I'm putting that one first. I'm putting Paul second. I got Ace third. I got Gene fourth. That's my order.
So much for a unanimous round. I thought this would have been a unanimous round.
So I will get some math added up here while we do the sixth song. The sixth song, Paul, It's All Right. Ace, New York Groove. Gene, Living in Sin. And Peter, Easy Thing.
That's no brainer.
Yeah, it is a no brainer.
Not for me. Yeah. For the third round in a row, I'm putting Paul at top, even though Aces, what I thought was my favorite album. My third round in a row, Paul goes on top with It's All Right. A great side opener, another strong song. I'm going to go with Gene second with Living in Sin. I thought it was always a cool tune, one of the cooler ones on his album. And this is the big surprise for me. Peter at number 3 with Easy Thing. It's actually my favorite song on his album. It's the most Beatlesque song on Peter's album. And in last place, the biggest hit of all 4 albums, New York Groove. I was never much of a fan of that one, to be honest. So I'd say Paul, Gene, Peter, Ace.
I believe so. Okay, so I'm gonna go. This is probably the easiest number 1 I had so far as we did this with It's All Right, which is just clearly the number 1 for me here. Great album opener. To me, It's All Right is almost a companion to Wouldn't You Like to Know Me. They're similar songs, and they got that massive driving rhythm guitar thing. And I love in It's All Right when at that breakdown and you hear Paul in a super thick New York accent just go, "Come over here." Like that's so great in that part over the drum thing. And it's all just insane vocal. So It's All Right, far and away number 1. Number 2, with my highest entry from Peter, would be Easy Thing. Favorite song on that record, and a great vocal from Peter. So that's at number 2. The incredibly silly but fun Living in Sin at the Holiday Inn will be at number 3. That whole, I know you write me sexy letters and all that. But when that song kicks in, it's got a cool, it's cool. So that's 3. Is that the one? That's the one when Cher calls him on the phone, right? Yeah. And I'm with Mike. I mean, I know it's the only hit from all 4 of these records. It's still a massive song, but New York Groove never did much for me. I remember even hearing it when it first came out. I'm like, where's the guitar solo? It's just kind of there. It's just nothing that ever got me overly excited. So for the only time, the Ace and an Ace song will be at 4, and Peter is at 2, but nothing touches It's All Right.
I think I'm almost in agreement with that. I go with It's All Right. Even before the record came out, they had a commercial for the Kiss solo albums before they were released, and Paul's song, you could hear that one the best in the commercial. And I always like that song. I like the production on it. I like the way he sings on it. So yeah, that's number 1. Number 2, man, this is a tough one because it's either Gene or Peter. But I'm going to go Gene on this one because I think this taps into Gene's vibe. And then Peter 3rd, and then New York Groove. I was never a big fan of that song either. I still don't understand if it's a drum machine or what it is.
And it's a cover.
It's a cover.
It's
a cover.
The band Hello,
yeah. And that was it. New York Groove, I guess that's why Ace's records sold the most, because it became top 12, top 14 or something.
Every sports team in New York still plays it every freaking game when they win. It's crazy. It's everywhere. But did you ever hear the original version, the Hello version?
Yeah, it sounds just like Ace's.
I thought it was pretty different. I thought from when it's been a while since I heard it, but
it's no Eugene.
I can play New York Groove in your Hello cover band.
Yes. Actually, but we are adding Eugene to the accent. Roy, what do you got?
I'm going to stick with what I was going to say before. I'm just going to do Ace, Paul, Gene, Peter. I like the way Ace sounds on New York Groove. I like the tone of his voice. I always have. I just love the sound of his voice. It's more about his voice than that. I mean, he's not the best singer in the world, but he just had a cool vibe and sound of his voice. That's why I like New York Groove. And being from New York, it's an anthem. I'm proud of that song for that. So
I wish they would have put the live Ace put the guitar solo in it. It would have been cool if they did a version like that. Ace probably still thinks there is a guitar solo in the studio version, but the reason why I bring that up is because I got into an argument with him, like a fun argument, but I have this recorded actually, where I asked him once, I said, why did you do a guitar solo in the live version of Rock and Roll All Night and there's not one on the studio version? And he's like, what are you talking about? There is one on the studio version. I go, no, there's not. And we literally argued it for like 10 minutes. Wow. It's on video and recorded. He had no idea he didn't do a guitar solo in the studio version of Rock and Roll All Night. That's the only version. I did a guitar solo. I'm like, no, you didn't.
When they did this song during the Dynasty tour, I didn't like it, man. I just didn't like them doing this song. Gene looked very out of place, doing it. It was just weird. And I think it made me not like the song even more from that.
And Charlie, didn't the sound guy put like a weird effect on the echo, like, back. I remember it just echoed forever. It was just like so weird. Like even then, like it was so weird, but they had to do it live. It was the only song from those records that was a hit.
Yeah.
They still do it live. I think they do it live with Tommy Thayer singing it now.
Really? No.
They do Shock Me. Why not?
That's true.
Well, I could see. I mean,
not that I go. I wouldn't know, but I've heard.
Not that I go.
Asking for a friend.
All right. So mine goes. I brought this record to show and tell in kindergarten, and this was the song that I played off of it. "Living in Sin" was my show and tell song in kindergarten, not knowing what it meant, but I loved the drums. I love that intro. You found the hotel where I'm staying. I just loved it. So "Living in Sin," then we'll go Peter, then we'll go Paul, and because I don't like the studio version of New York Groove, Ace.
Wow. So far we're all in agreement.
No,
except for Roy, but yeah.
No, and I agree with Roy. I can't deny New York Groove. I'm sorry. It's just, I can't deny it. I got New York Groove first. I'm actually the same exact order as Roy. I got Ace, Paul, Gene, Peter on this one.
It's a feel good song.
What? It's an amazing song. I mean, Roy and I are the only two with any New York loyalty, and I'm from Connecticut.
If it was called New Jersey Groove, I'd put it at number one.
Exactly.
So wait a second. None of us are in New York anymore.
Nah.
Yeah, not one of us.
No, none of us are.
I never was.
I'll tell you what, though. I still have a New York cell phone number, and I will never get.
He does. He's
917.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too. I'm
917.
But awesome. If all of us here can pick their favorite New York song, I'm going to go with Sinatra.
Oh,
that's
God,
my favorite.
Absolutely, New York.
Yeah,
that's a good New York. That's probably the New York song.
Shit.
I'd have to think of one. I can't think of any others. Actually, New York Groove.
I just think of that New York Groove.
Yeah, really.
No, there's a Jay-Z has a huge.
Yeah, I think he's got one also.
As far as classics, though, New York, and New York Groove are the New York songs, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right?
If you want a newer one,
hold on. New York State of Mind.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, but
you want a newer good New York song from like the last 5-6 years. There's a great song on a Michael Monroe album called "Ballad of the Lower East Side," written by Steve Conti, and
that's awesome.
Ass. The song
I haven't heard it,
so
but I'm
good.
going to listen to it now.
"Ballad of the Lower East Side." It's on like a Michael Monroe album from like 5-6 years ago. It's so good.
He's awesome.
Don't forget, the Sex Pistols have a song called "New York."
Of course.
My New York pride. I just went to scratch and I realized I remembered I got a Connecticut tattoo on my arm. That's how much pride in New York I have. Last time when I was home in July, I got a state of Connecticut tattoo. That's my New York pride.
The Ramones had 53rd and 3rd. So yeah, that's probably close.
All right. Do we want to know?
Wait a minute. Wait. The Eagles. No, I mean Don Henley.
Oh yeah, New York Minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, back to the records.
Do we want to know the standings after 5 or no?
No, I gotta go for real.
Yeah.
You got a ribeye on the barbecue?
I got a ribeye. No. I have other work to do, and it's 10:30. I got shit to do for real. thought this was
What do you
going
have
to
to
be
do?
30
What do you have to do? Is more important than ranking the 4 Kiss solo
I thought
albums.
this was going to be
Your
30
life has
minutes.
been
I'm
leading
90
to
minutes
this moment.
in. We're halfway done.
No,
Your whole life has led to this
beginning.
moment, Eddie.
I'll self promote. Izzy's got a band practice, so I'll self promote for him. So he's got to be out of here pretty soon anyway. So
I got homework to do.
And I got to watch The Real Housewives. So let's go.
I got to get caught up on The Walking Dead.
Oh God,
I checked out on that years ago.
I just can't. I just can't check out, even though it pours.
They reeled me in 2 nights ago. I went right to season 10. I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Did you really?
Has anybody watched that Wu-Tang series?
No.
yeah, I want to though. Is it
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
really
curious
good.
to see.
I want to
it.
watch the Rick James documentary, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It's on Showtime.
It's super freaky.
All right, so where are we standing? Where are we sitting right now?
Number
I'm
7.
sitting on a stool. Oh. I was like,
We're at track number 7. Paul Stanley. Hold me, touch me, think of me. Ace Frehley. I'm in need of love. You know, all he should do if he's in need of love is just go hold, touch, and think of Paul. All right, so Paul, hold me, touch me, think of me. Ace, I'm in need of love. Gene, Gene is always near you, nowhere to hide. And Peter is rock me, baby. Not to be confused with keep on a rocking me, baby.
Gentleman rock.
Baby.
All right, go.
All right, I'll be quick. Ace at number 1. I'm in need of love. I think it's a badass tune. I love the delay and everything. It's fucking really one of my favorites on the album, actually. Always Near You from Gene at number 2. It's another one that has a bit of a Beatles flavor. It's weird that he's doing those female vocals at the end. Everybody, that's all him, which is pretty crazy. Wow. Then Paul's Hold Me, Touch Me at number 3. It's one of my least favorite on this album. And then Peter, of course, at number 4. Poor Peter. So there you go. Ace, Gene, Paul, Peter.
Okay. Eddie?
I'm in need of love is number 1 here. Cool song. Such the echo thing, like Mike said, just so cool. So I'm in need of love at 1. Hold Me, Touch Me is like,
don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, you know what I like about Hold Me, Touch Me is I like I love the guitar solo in it, which is Paul,
that's good,
actually.
Yeah.
But the vocal, what's weird about it is his singing on that record across that whole record is unbelievable. But that record, he just doesn't sound like that song. Rather, he doesn't sound. Just, I don't know, doesn't come off right. I'll tell you this though, when I worked in a record store for years, and I used to play that record constantly, and anytime that song came on, Hold Me, Touch Me, the housewives bought it. They would come to the register and say, who is that, and buy it. But that being said, it's still not number 2. I would put Gene at number 2. I think that's a really cool song. Production wise, it's really cool too. There's a lot going on in that song. So I'll go Gene at 2. I don't remember Peter's song "Rock Me, Baby." Is it up tempo? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Rock me, baby. Rock
No,
me,
that's the part. That's David Cassidy or something.
I know. I'm fucking.
Keep on a rocking me, baby.
No, somebody give me I'm trying to remember the song.
It is upbeat. I just can't remember exactly.
I think everybody just said enough that they can't. Nobody here can remember the song. Give me like 10 seconds.
I'm getting you. Hold on.
5 seconds so I can remember. I'm trying to remember.
I'm doing it.
Hold on. I got it, Paul.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go.
Here.
Oh, yeah. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
All right, we're
I
putting
remember
that in
the
the
song.
3 hole. That's rocking. That was cool. So all right, so we're putting Peter in 3 and we're putting Hold Me, Touch Me at 4. The lowest Paul song for me. Wow.
I'm going to do exactly. I'm going to have what Ed's having. And so it's Ace, Gene, Peter, Paul.
There you go.
Roy.
Well, I'm going to go Ace, I'm gonna go Peter because I like the sound of his voice. I love when he starts rocking out. I like when his voice gets into that tone right there we just heard. So I'm gonna go Ace, Peter, Gene, Paul.
I'm the same.
And so the single from the Paul Stanley solo record unanimously comes in the 4-hole.
Yes,
great A&R work back in the day.
The second time in a row, I'm spot on with Roy, Ace, Peter, Gene, and Paul. So Paul came in last. Paul is the first person other than Pete. Wait. What? Oh my God. Paul is the first person to come in unanimously and last.
Wow.
But props for that guitar solo, which is a really cool soaring guitar solo.
Paul's the first person of no one's unanimously come in first yet. Either.
Oh no, actually, I hate to say it, Paul, but actually, I had Peter at number 4. I had Paul in 3rd for this round. I hate to do that, but if I'm going to be honest, yeah.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
So there's still no unanimous placements.
I like Peter's voice on this.
But it's interesting.
I agree. I like his voice on this.
Kind of hooliganish.
Yeah.
His voice, man. I mean, to me, he's got the second best voice in Kiss. No doubt about it. And I love that rasp. It reminds me a lot of like Roger Taylor's voice or Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters when he sings. He's got that rasp. I dig that, man.
Actually, this was the first unanimous first we've had the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, track number 8. We have Paul, Love in Chains. Ace, Wiped Out. Gene, Man of 1,000 Faces. Peter, Hooked on Rock. Wait, wrong one. Kiss the Girl, Goodbye. So Peter's Kiss the Girl, Goodbye. Gene, Man of 1,000 Faces. Ace, Wiped Out. And Paul, his Love is in Chains.
For the 4th of 8 rounds, I got Paul in first place, Love in Chains. Another strong, super strong song. Gene at 2nd with Man of 1,000 Faces. Wiped Out. I always found it a little bit corny.
Oh my God. Are you out of your mind?
It's corny to me. I don't know.
Oh, that riff. Yeah, but think about in the chorus. I was.
It was just such a random tempo change. I don't know, man. I mean, as a drummer, you'd think I'd like it, but I was never crazy about it. So number 3, and then Peter at number 4. So Paul, Gene, Ace, Peter.
Hey, Mr. Edward.
Love in Chains at 1. Wiped Out at 2. Gene, Peter.
Just to save time, I'm just going to say I agree with what Eddie said. I've got Paul 1, Ace 2, Gene 3, Peter 4th. I'm just agreeing with Eddie so we can get there.
Okay. I have Paul, Gene, Ace, Peter.
Okay.
What I got?
What do you got, buddy?
Paul, Gene, Ace, Peter.
See, the 3 drummers know.
I got.
No, I was never a fan of the Ace Frehley song. That one in particular. I agree with you on that. I think Man with 1,000 Faces definitely. I don't know. It beats it. It's just a better song.
You know? Plus the Ace song sounds like something off of the Grease soundtrack.
Right?
Whoa. Yeah. Thou shall not rip on the Grease soundtrack, my friend.
No, I didn't rip on
the hand job. No, I'm kidding. That's hand jive. Sorry.
I've got first time I've got Paul at number 1 for that beautiful Michael McDonald Love and Chains. And then I got Peter 2nd, Gene 3rd, Ace 4th.
Wow.
Okay.
God, is he? I don't know. He's nothing but like a contradiction. This guy.
Come on. So contrarian. It's been like 38 seconds. No shameless plugs.
Nope.
September 30th, we are at the Maui Sugar Mill with Mike Dawson, Smoking Kills.
Mike's got the ribeye coming. It's 11 o'clock. Right, it's almost gone.
Track number 9. Paul Stanley Says Goodbye. So long, farewell. Ace, Fractured Mirror.
Oh.
Gene, Mr. Make Believe, and Peter, Hooked on Rock and Roll. So we got Hooked on Rock and Roll, Mr. Make Believe, Fractured Mirror, and Goodbye.
All right. Well, this is probably.
Can somebody give us a few seconds of Hooked on Rock and Roll again? I'm trying to refresh myself on that.
All right, hold on. I will get it for you right now.
Are you doing it, Izzy? Okay.
I got it. Hooked on Rock and Roll.
No one listens to that record.
Except for me. All right.
I love Peter's voice.
Voice is great, but man, the sax and the piano, it's so
like honky tonk.
It's like Bob Seger.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Well, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's not like what we Kiss fans wanted to hear, you know?
Right.
But the voice is great. No denying.
Yeah, voice is, I mean,
Yeah.
I love Peter's voice.
Awesome.
All right. So I'm going to probably be the unpopular opinion here, but my number one is Gene's Mr. Make Believe. And once again, it's because he's tapping into that Beatles thing. And I think Gene is actually the best musician in Kiss, my opinion. I think he seems to be the one that really knows a lot about chords and melody and harmony. You could tell that he's got that Beatles influence. And I love that it comes out on this album. And this is one of those tracks where he is doing it again. So Mr. Make Believe at number one. Now my 2 and 3, I was struggling between Ace and Paul, but I'm going to put Ace with Fractured Mirror at number 2, Paul with Goodbye at number 3, and then Peter at 4. And one note about Fractured Mirror, it reminds me very, very much of, do you know Prodigal Son by Iron Maiden?
Yeah.
And You Can't Kill Rock and Roll by Ozzy. It's almost identical, but he came first. But if you compare it to those two songs, very, very, very similar.
Wow.
And for those that don't know, because Ace did like 5 sequels to Fractured Mirror, there's literally like 4 sequels to that song on his subsequent solo records.
Hopefully he fixed the mirror.
I missed that. What'd you say, Charlie?
No, I said hopefully he fixed the mirror.
Oh, I gotcha. So, okay. So my turn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Goodbye at 1. Great way to close the record. Again, the vocal. Goodbye. It's just great. So yeah, Goodbye at 1. I'll go Mr. Make Believe at 2. I think Gene's voice on that is great. I love when Gene sings in like the more clean Beatles-ish voice. And I agree, he's a very underrated singer. He's a great singer when he wants to be a great singer. And then I'll go Fractured Mirror at 3, and then Peter at 4 with the honky tonk. But Fractured Mirror, it's just, I think if you smoked a lot of weed when you were a kid, listening to it would be really cool. I didn't, but I do remember we used to go get like my friend. I'll never forget. My friend got a new stereo right around that time, and it was like one of the first stereos to have like VU meters. But instead of the needles, it was the pulsing lights. And that was like the first thing we played was Fractured Mirror, watch the lights and drinking Mickey's Big Mouths while we did it. So that has a special place in my memory, but it still sits at number 3. I know people that love Fractured Mirror and think it's this masterpiece thing. And it is brilliant. It's so cool how it builds and the chimes and the birds and all that. But just in general, no offense to the Progmeister in the room, but I don't get overly excited about instrumentals. So
there's not much meat on the bones either. I mean, it's kind of like 2 parts back and forth over and over.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to do an instrumental, I think you need a little more substance.
Yeah, but it does build very cool if you listen to it with the chimes, the birds, and then it ends like that. So that is cool, but it still sits at 3. And then, like I said, Peter in a very honky tonk kind of song at 4.
Charlie.
I'm going to go with Goodbye because it's one of my favorite Paul songs. There's a great bass part in that song. Paul sings. He's great on this song. I mean, the whole album he sings his ass off. But Yeah, so Goodbye, number one. I have to go with Gene, number two, because he touches on that English side of him, and Mr. Make Believe is just a great song. And it's like I have a version of Fractured Mirror that Dimebag did, and I don't even know if he really. I don't know if a lot of people have heard it, but his, it's very similar, of course, but it has a little bit of an edge to it, and then Peter is last again. Sorry.
It's funny because the intro for our act shows, I have Fractured Mirror, but it's a Dimebag version with just a bunch of Ace sound clips over it. But yeah, it's the Dimebag version.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you guys want to hear that Dimebag version, it's on Spacewalking, I believe is the name of,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Roy, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with Gene, Mr. Make Believe, and for the same reasons as Mike. I'm really into the Beatles, and I love his vibe that he gets. That he pulls in this Beatlesque kind of thing in this song. I think he sounds great on that. And I still listen to that song now, and it still resonates with me. Even it did then. Ace, he's second. I love Fractured Mirror. I love how dark that song is. I'm really into soundtracks and scores and stuff. I've always have been since I was a kid. So that one has a special place for me. And I love that one. And then it's Paul and Peter.
Okay.
I am going with Peter at number one with Hooked on Rock and Roll. And then Gene at number two, Ace at number three, and Paul at number four.
Okay, I agree with everybody about the Beatles. Everyone that made the Beatles comment, I'm going Gene number one. I've got Paul number two. I've got Peter number three, and Ace holding up the rear on this one. I'm just not a big Fractured fan. I don't think it delivers. I think Eddie said it, and I agree with what Mike said. There's just not enough going on. I'm a vocal guy, and there's not enough going on for it to keep me with songs.
It's just vibe.
So I got Gene, Paul, Peter, Ace. And track number 10, this should be easy. There's only two tracks. It's See You in Your Dreams by Gene, or I Can't Stop the Rain from Peter. So I Can't Stop the Rain from Peter, or See You in Your Dreams from Gene.
Well, I'm going to give it to Peter just so I can have Peter have a number one song.
Nice.
But I do agree. I actually do like this song. I think it's the second best on the album behind Easy Thing for me. And it's interesting that side two of Peter's album, 3 of the 5 songs are full on ballads. But anyway, so I'll give it to Peter. See You in Your Dreams. I never understood why Gene redid See You in Your Dreams. I think it's inferior to the Kiss version, the Rock and Roll Over version. I don't see the point of it. So yeah, I'll give it to Peter.
Agree with Mike completely. I never understood the reason for doing See You in Your Dreams. Rock and Roll Over version is far superior. I'd love to know what he was thinking. It's just out of material. Why we go back to that? It was 2 years ago that it came out when the time that record came out. So it wasn't like an old song. Really weird decision. I'd love to know the thought process there. But anyway, I go, I Can't Stop the Rain. Great vocal from Peter. So I go that at 1, See You in Dreams at 2.
Oh boy. All right. I'm going to go with the Ace blank song.
the hidden track.
And then the Paul blank song. And then I'm going to go with the Peter song. And then I'm going to go with the Gene song.
Charlie's taking the pops at the end of those other 2 records over the
the space in between the song. That's the one I like.
Roy?
I'm going to go Peter and Gene. Then Gene.
Izzy?
Samesies.
And I'm the samesies too. I just don't understand why the cover's on there. That's I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And then the last one is just we've got that last track is When You Wish Upon a Star. So
which is so cool. I give Gene so much credit for doing that. I mean, that was I think a really bold move to end the album that way. And I think that was really, really cool. Actually.
I love it.
I have more respect for what the meaning behind it. Like he explains in one of the documentaries why he did that song. And after he said that, I'm like, changed my opinion entirely.
Yeah. When I was doing mornings on Monsters of Rock Radio on Dash, that was my closing segment was always me talking over that cover of that song.
Oh, so I'll give it to Gene for this round.
And Mike, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. $200 for that sealed record, and I will send you also the sealed picture disc. No. All right.
So we're done, right?
Yep, I'm doing some math now, so
you gotta sweeten the pot a little bit.
Hey, you know what? While we're waiting, are you gonna get flagged if I play music?
Probably.
I'll play it really quick
on the YouTube.
Check out Fractured Mirror, the riff here, while Paul's adding.
All right.
Now we're all bopping our head. We're going to reconsider the.
But
picks.
now listen to "Prodigal Son" by Iron Maiden.
Hey, oh.
Wow.
Different key, but same idea.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Here's "You Can't Kill Rock and Roll" by Ozzy.
That's even more.
Wow.
Same key.
Holy shit.
Same key.
Yeah.
And okay, so Ace predates either of them.
Ace was first.
So I might have to blow a text in because he'll file a lawsuit immediately. You want a funny story why Paul's along those lines? Why I say that? So remember when Buck Cherry came out with Lit Up as their first single?
Yeah.
The first ever Buck Cherry single was Lit Up, which was very reminiscent. The riff was very reminiscent of Shock Me. So Ace called, I'll never forget this, because I love Buck Cherry, and Keith, who's the guitar player at the time, is still a good friend. So Ace calls me up. It's like, what it was, that 99 or something. He goes, this band with this Lit Up song. He goes, you know these guys? And I was just like, yeah, I actually know them really well. I'm a fan. He goes, this song, is it doing good? And I was like, I go, yeah, it's doing pretty well. It's pretty big at radio. He goes, they make any money yet? Is it selling or anything? I go, I don't know. I mean, they're a new band, Ace. They just came out. He goes, let me know when they do really good and sell a lot of records. And I was like, why? I said, you want to go play with them or anything? He goes, no, I'm going to wait till then until they have money before I sue them. He goes, this song fucking shocked me.
It is totally shocked me.
It is.
I told Keith that story. He didn't find it so funny.
No, I can't imagine he would.
Did he ever pull the trigger?
No, Ace did. Ace was, I think he was half fucking around, but he made his point.
Keith's great.
All right. So
there was a pun in there, by the way.
Pull the trigger.
So here's where we're at. I've got everything done. Interestingly enough, if we go track by track.
Come on, Peter.
Track by track, and we're not counting 10 and 11, but we, you know what? We are counting 10 and 11 because we have to, because it's what gives Peter a track in the album. So we basically have first side. If we're going track by track, this is our Kiss solo album. Ace Frehley, Rip It Out. Ace, Speeding Back to My Baby. Ace, Snowblind.
Whoa.
Track 4, Wouldn't You Like to Touch Me from Paul?
Would you like to blow me?
Track 5, Take Me Away, Together as One by Paul. Track 6, It's All Right by Paul. So the first 3 are Ace, the second 3 are Paul.
Bad sequencing.
Then we have track number 7, I'm in Need of Love by Ace. Track 8, Love in Chains by Paul.
Wow.
Track 9, Under the Gun, Gene squeaks in with Mr. Make-Believe, winning one. And then track 10, when he was only up against Gene, Peter gets track 10 with I Can't Stop the Rock and Roll. And then track 11 is When You Wish Upon a Star to close the album. Now the final vote tally, Ace overall, Ace wins 167 points. Paul has 152 points. Ace has 104, or Gene rather has 145. And Peter has 100. So
that was my order that I said at the top of the show that I personally think is like 8 out of 10 Kiss fans. That's the go-to order.
Yep.
Ace, Paul, Gene, Peter, and it actually worked out that way.
Yeah, it worked out that way.
Wow.
So that is our best of the Kiss solo records album.
I think that's a good sequence.
I think that's
Send me that playlist. I'm gonna make that playlist. I want to hear
Make
just
that
like
playlist?
that.
All right, I'll email it to everybody.
Rad. I like it.
But yeah, that's
I will actually put it up on Spotify as the playlist from the show.
There you go.
Copy.
Mike, I'm coming over. Put a ribeye on for me.
Actually, funny you should say that, Eddie, because somebody said on one of the posts that it's actually because it's not a ribeye this time. Paul said Mike's going to have tacos ready at this point.
And Mike, next time we do this, I want you to wear the same suit you wore in that photo at that wedding the other day that you posted.
I have a revolver tie though, so at least I am somewhat, vindicated by that.
It's traumatizing whenever I have to wear not a t-shirt somewhere.
Well, I've had the same suit I wear it for weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs, everything for the last 30 years. It's one-stop shopping.
Good.
Yeah.
There you go. Mike, you got anything to pimp while we're here?
Oh yeah, I'm going to be sitting home for the next 6 months and
free.
Yeah, nothing.
Business.
Whole lot of nothing, just like the past year and a half. Yeah.
Mike, Winery Dogs, come on, let's go.
That's true. I went to LA a couple times this summer, and we wrote the next record. So it's written, and my drums are done. So now it's a matter of Billy and Richie doing their tracks.
Awesome.
And definitely won't be out till next year, but definitely sometime next year. So looking forward to that. And fingers crossed, I'll be back on the road soon. But at the moment, I have a one-off with Metal Allegiance on Long Island next week. It's me and Mark Mengi, Alex Skolnick, Phil Demmel, John Bush, and Mark Asageda. And that's going to be my first live show in front of a real audience since this whole thing has started. So
are you saying we're not real?
No, my first performance on stage. And I'm looking forward to it, but hopefully I will survive. I'm so out of shape. I'm sitting home for the past, year and a half, but looking forward to that. And then I have some stuff with the Neil Morse Band, but other than that, I'm just patiently waiting for the world to get back to normal and get back out there.
Right. What
is my plug?
I finally wrapped up the soundtrack to the score of the film I talked about earlier when we were on before. That's finally finished. It's in its final stages. I was at Dolby all week last week helping mixing it. I still can't say what it is, but it's going to be good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Charlie, any Anthrax shows coming up?
Yeah, we play Riot Fest this weekend, actually. And then we play Louder Than Life next week, the week after that. And then we play Aftershock, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then what's the one in Daytona?
Welcome to Rockville.
Welcome to Rockville, yes. And then we're working on a new record, actually. And of course, go get my Silver Linings record, download it, stream it.
I got the vinyl. It's awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, I played on the new Ministry album. That's coming out October 2nd. I forgot. Duh.
There you go. New Ministry, October 2nd. Edward.
Sirius XM every day, Monday through Friday, live 2 to 4 Eastern.
That.
There you go. Live 2 to 4 Eastern on 106 volume, Monday through Friday, replays 10 to midnight Eastern. Listen on the app anytime. Podcast free every Thursday. Awesome. FM show, just 8 radio shows a week. So a lot going on there. And I got a busy October. I'm in Houston, October 7th at Warehouse Live with Sebastian Bach. I'm there October 9th with Jackal. And then I am at Monsters on the Mountain, October 15, 16, 17 with Charlie. And Charlie, just found out you're doing your art there. Larry just told me you're doing your thing there.
Yeah, Carla and I are doing an art show there, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
What day is Monsters on the Mountain?
It's Monsters of Rock Cruise on land.
I know. What day is it?
October 15th through the 7th, because I will be there as well.
Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So
I may come as a hanger on.
Bring it,
guys. Yeah. We can do this live. We can do this.
We can do this live on stage.
Yeah, maybe I'll come out for that.
And then from there, I've got Cancun for 5 days, an event called 80s in the Sand with Cheap Trick and Tesla and Night Ranger. So my October is totally stacked. Hopefully it all happens.
Nice.
Rocktober. It's actually Rocktober.
Oh God, I hate that. So cheesy.
Hey, Paul, you got anything to talk about?
Yeah, I've got the Metal Edge. We had our first official meeting. Metal Edge, the sale is officially final. I won't announce who bought it yet, but that'll probably be coming out with a press release in the next week or so. So I'm very excited about that. There's going to be huge things happening with Metal Edge moving forward. Kurt Dimer's new single is out now with Jeff Tate on guest vocals. Check it out. It's called Burn Together. And those are the two big things right now. I will be at I'm going to be in Cincinnati this weekend and Flint, Michigan with Kurt and Jeff. And I have to say, I got to shout out to everybody at Rocktember then in Hinckley, Minnesota. That was a really, really fun
rough
show.
Name.
Yeah, lit were amazing.
No, I mean, I'm sure it was. I'm not talking about the event, but all that Rocktember stuff. It's just so radio.
Really good lit I haven't seen the Lit guys in forever. They were amazing. Sebastian was fantastic. Striper was incredible. Warrant was amazing. My guys Hurricane were fantastic. It was a really, really good night. Skillet kind of blew me away. I've never seen them live before. It was a really good show. So,
but did you
stuff going on out there right now? I wish we could do it steadily across the country and not only do it as fly dates, because it's really, really frustrating as a manager to have that burden when you're trying to figure out, your bands want to go out there, but you can't risk the expenses attached to it. I mean, we're in a really bad place right now.
But here's the most important question. Did you enjoy a delicious Michelob Golden Light draft?
I drank more Michelob Golden Light drafts in 2 nights in Hinckley, Minnesota than I can honestly say I've ever drank in my life and may ever drink again. But it is a delightful beer. And
I've never heard of that beer. Is that a sponsor or something, is he?
No, it's just my favorite beer. And you can
I've never heard of it. I've never even seen it.
Here. You can't get it out here, but I sent a picture the first night. The singer Hurricane and I had one, and we sent a picture to Izzy because I was like, this is what Izzy loads his car with when he's driving back from
wait a minute. You guys both live in LA. What do you mean you can't get it out here? How does he have it and you can't get it?
Because I drove back to Minnesota to stock up.
Oh, you can get it only in that.
He filled his car with it, which was about his trunk could fit like 2 6-packs.
So it's kind of like when you used to always only be able to get Coors in Colorado.
Exactly. Yeah, it's basically a Smoking the Bandit run, except I don't have a 77 Bandit Trans Am. I have a stupid Prius. So.
You're getting better gas mileage.
If it's Michelob, I'm assuming that's going to eventually roll out nationally, right?
No, because what happened is this beer, Michelob Golden Light Draft, is the #1 selling beer in Minnesota because Michelob is a Budweiser product. They cannot put it out nationally and have a brand that is not Bud Light be their #1 selling beer. So there you go.
So you're saying it's a threat to Bud Light, so they can't put it out.
Absolutely.
I mean, I got to tell you, Bud Light is urine. That's actually not a bad beer. It really isn't.
It's good. All right. My plugs really quick. This Thursday night, Santa Barbara, California, with Mike Dawson and the Smoking Kills at the Soho House. And September 30th is at it's in Tarzana. What's the place, Paulie?
Tarzana.
Tarzana. Why can't I think? I'll tell you guys next week. Who do we got next week?
Next week, hold on. Let me look at the schedule.
Do we have anything confirmed?
We might not. Who knows? Yes, we do. Next week, because next week was supposed to be this week, and it got moved to next week. Next week, we have Kevin Martin from Candlebox on.
Oh, kick ass. Very excited about that. All right.
I'll just be touching myself inappropriately through the whole thing.
Can't wait. I can wait for that.
I was about to say.
All right. We'll say goodbye off the air, and I'm going to hit it right now. Yes, if you missed it on Eddie Drunken. Actually, this is a brand new mix of the Speed Back to My Baby, my version with Freaky from Flip and Hairball, Matt Moline from ACK, the Midwest version, and on drums is Freaky as well. And we have Faith Jallis doing the female background. So here it is, and this beautiful intro with Mike Dawson from the Adam Carolla Show being radio guy. We'll see you guys next week.
I have that button.
I have that button.
We are the champions.
See you guys next week. My name is Izzy Presley on behalf of Paul Gargano, Mike Portnoy, Roy Mayorga, Charlie Benante, and Eddie Trunk. This has been Metal Edge Magazine's another fucking podcast.